This is on-nomi, a great new idea out of Japan. Online drinks with your friends when you can't be with them in person. Cheers. Hello everyone, welcome back. Another on-nomi, online drinks. I've got some good friends here this evening. I've got Stu Hayes and Michelle Dillon from Team Dillon. Cheers, guys. Good to see you.
Cheers.
Oh,
what have you got? Cobra.
Cobra today, yeah.
Cheers. We've got some gin and tonics here.
Gin and tonics.
Trying to keep the old waistline down at the moment.
My little friend needs to go away.
So has there been a bit too much beer in lockdown?
Maybe 2 a night. Got to 3 at one point. Had to cut it back. Now I'm on gin and tonics because it wasn't. I was getting up in the morning. I felt really tired, so I thought to myself, do you know what? Let's get off the alcohol for a little bit. Take me like midday to feel normal again, and by lunchtime I have another beer. So I thought I've got a little bit of a problem here.
Yeah,
I'm being careful.
He's only pulling your leg.
I'm joking.
No, but it's easily getting to that routine of drinking too much.
Oh, definitely.
You know, like I love my red wine, and I thought, maybe I'm just consuming too many calories. We're not swimming at the moment. You've got to be careful how much running you do because you get injured.
Yeah,
you can easily get carried away with that, obviously. And the biking, you know, you're sitting on a bike. I mean, okay, you're burning calories, but the old waistline. So we have gone on to the gin and tonics for that reason.
So that's Team Dillon's like pro tip number one for
that's
lockdown.
Gin and tonics.
Gin and tonic if you're on the weight loss.
Well, the actual real weight loss is soda and vodka. If you really have a problem with the weight, but
okay,
I couldn't drink that myself.
But I tell you what, when you are increasing your alcohol, I must admit, one thing we do rely on is the pH. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That is full on because we sometimes you end up feeling so dry and dehydrated in the evening afterwards when you've been drinking, and I just pop one before I go to bed, have one in a glass, bang, straight, and then as soon as I wake up have another one, and then I'm on the bike and you're sweating and have another one or two. Amazing. I actually couldn't live without my pH right now, to be honest.
Well, we couldn't possibly endorse it for that use, obviously, as the professionals that we are. But it's good to hear that you're finding alternatives for it. I did wonder why we were shipping so much to your address. You know, I thought, what's going on there? Have they really upped their training? But it's just up your drinking.
Well, this time last year, I saw some builders in the backyard building away, and they look exhausted. And I said, "Are you guys like dehydrated by any chance?" "Oh, we feel a bit sick actually. It's really hot." I said, do you want to try a pH tablet? So I gave them one each. Their whole face completely changed. They had all this extra energy. They said, "Where'd you get those tablets from?" I was thinking, "Buy them online." Never heard of them before. And I was thinking, these are like for everyday people.
Yeah.
Not just athletes.
It's true.
I tell you what, mate. We've done. Well, you'll know better than anyone what it's like in Australia, Michelle. We've started supplying quite a lot of people who work in the outdoor labouring environment over there because it is brutal, and we think we sweat a lot as athletes, but if you're welding out in the heat or roofing or building walls or whatever, it's a whole different game out there.
Oh, for sure. People don't. I don't think you realise like how much you need that electrolyte balance. You know, on a day to day, like people just drink water, and really water just to a point goes straight through you, doesn't it? So,
especially in the hot weather, and
teas and coffees, and they think, I'm a bit thirsty, I might have a cup of tea. I mean, that's what a lot of people do, especially over here.
And the older generation as well, they just drink tea and coffee. They never drink water, or even they've never heard of the word electrolyte. So
there you go.
Yeah. Well, so I'm going to change the subject real quickly, but to keep it on the subject of water, because you can transition into this one. Yeah. You guys, loads of triathletes at the moment have been out of the water for quite a while because you know, if you're not lucky enough to have like a pool and a tether or an endless pool or something like that, then you know you've basically just not been swimming. So I know that you've both had in the past big extended times out of the water because Stu only last year, I think it was. It was only last year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You got hit by the deer, smashed your pelvis, you were out for weeks and weeks. Michelle, you've had back surgeries and other things which have kept you out of the water. Give me your top sort of 3 or 4 tips for when people can go back to swimming. Like how do you get back to full speed as quickly as possible?
Okay, number one tip from me is wear buoyancy shorts because at least you're not going to sink in the water. I mean, I wear them anyway now generally. I didn't used to wear them as a professional athlete, but certainly as an age group athlete because the age group seen is more predominantly towards the wetsuit swimming, like when we race in wetsuit. So it kind of gets that body position up in the right position, and you can really focus on the front end of your stroke. So I was actually thinking about doing double buoyancy strokes when I get back, because I think I'm going to really drown. But no, on a serious note, like just look, I've been trying to do, and I haven't done this before either, because obviously this is a forced rest in the pool. Doing upper body strength work, say some like push-ups, and just going through and doing sort of stretch cords and stuff like that. It's definitely helping just to keep some strength there. Obviously, it's not swim specific as such in the terms of when you get in and you start pulling your arm underneath you, you're going to get tired quite quickly, I think. I don't know, I will. But look, I don't think all the people that have swam over the years, I don't think it's going to take too much time to get back. I think it'll be quite overwhelming to start with for the first couple of weeks. And I think as people get back into the water, I think they're going to find that it comes back quicker than they think. Well, that's what I'm hoping. And we know we've done it in the past. So.
And most people are in the same boat. I mean, some people do have endless pools, but they're not that good. There's nothing like swimming in a swimming pool. Yeah. So everyone is in the same boat and the same situation. So when they do start up, they will notice that people around them will be slower too.
Yeah.
One thing I say is don't get in and do build up slowly. Don't jump in and suddenly do 4K.
Yeah.
And be careful, because you will end up with tendonitis in your shoulders.
Yeah.
So I want to run this tip past you, because this is a tip I was given years ago, and I've had a few periods when I've returned to swimming after a bit of time out of the water, and someone said to me, basically start with like shorter reps, like 25s, 50s, maybe some 75s or 100s, but kind of bring back the speed, but over a shorter distance with rests, rather than going in and smashing like 200, 400 reps and that sort of stuff, because your form just like deteriorates.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Do you agree with that?
Definitely, yeah, because you can hold the form, like you'll always, anyone can just get in and sprint a 25 or 50 and do a one-off, but you know, when you're not fit, as you say, as you start to go along, your form just drops. You know, you can see it like within a couple of reps, the form starts to drop. So yeah, perfect. Like lots of 25s or probably over 25 would be better to start with. Like say a set of like 20 25s, and then 100 easy 20 25s, 100 easy, maybe 2 or 3 times that.
Yeah.
And then just work the paddles in slowly as well, because again, it's all about, you know, you're going to feel quite weak, and you want to get the right muscles engaged as well, because those muscles have been engaged for quite a long time now. We're coming up to 10 weeks of no swimming. So you want to get those muscles engaged, and even though you've been doing strength and conditioning work, upper body strength and conditioning work, it's not engaging exactly the right muscles. So it is going to be different. So it is just about trying to fire those muscles up. And yeah, for sure, that's definitely a good one, for sure.
Good stuff. Now, changing the subject once again, you guys have both been to the Olympic Games. You're probably in touch, I guess, with some of the people who would have been doing the Olympics this year. First of all, I want you to think back. How would you have felt if, you know, you'd qualified for the games, or it was high on your list to qualify? You know, you were a favourite to qualify, and then all of a sudden it's been kicked a year, and then even worse, potentially, you know, is it even going to happen in 2021? There's a credible discussion around whether it will happen at all. How would you feel about that?
Yeah, I think that would have been an absolute disaster for someone that's at their peak or in tip-top condition, only because every year is different. Next year they could be injured. I could have been, like one year you're not injured, next year you are injured, and that could have been your year. Some people it's going to work in their favour, because they are injured now and they won't be injured next year. So it's actually completely altered the results completely, hasn't it? I mean,
well, yeah. I mean, look, for us, like, I mean, I know going into Athens, for me, that was the last memory of my Olympics there in 2004. I was really badly injured. So if that was me back then, I would have probably been happy that it was postponed to the following week, because that would give me another 6 months to sort of bide my time and then go away and be able to get on top of that injury, come back even in better shape. Yeah. But in saying that, if you were in really good shape, like Alistair or Johnny, like going into London or Rio, or you know, anyone really who's made the team, and you've got your timing spot on for that particular race, and all of a sudden it's just pulled from underneath you, it's devastating. You know, it's like, well, because to keep that motivation and to keep that same, you know, workload going as well for another 6 months, You know, you've got to really go back to the drawing board and think, how are we going to do this? We've got to because it's all about the time. It's one day. And that's what's so hard about the Olympics, is that one day you could wake up the day before the Olympics and feel amazing and think, if it was today, I could win the medal. But if the next day you could wake up and feel terrible, and that's life, and it really is about the timing. So yeah, like you said, it'll be a different result.
It's going to be
for sure,
and also for the older athletes as well. It's another extra year.
Yeah,
a little bit older. I mean, Alistair's coming towards the end of his Olympic career. It's another year now of body, and I found once you get past 30, your body feels like a piece of cement. It's not like rubber anymore. It's like cement. So he would be thinking, oh no, another year. And also, will they keep the same selection policies in place? There could be some new kids coming through that thinking, hang on a second, I know the Olympics didn't happen, but maybe they might even redo the selection trials. You just don't know, do you?
Yeah.
No, so there's definitely a lot of things up in the air. I chatted with a guy recently, Chris Houth, who I raced a swim run race with this year, and Chris swam in it was either the 92 or maybe the 96 Olympic Games, like 200 and 400 IM, and then he went on to have a decent career in triathlon. He won a couple of Ironman races, and he still does it now. But he said that growing up in the era that he did in swimming, like as a youngster in the early 80s, he was around a lot of athletes who missed out on their Olympic chance because the Americans boycotted the 1980 Soviet Olympics, and then the Soviets boycotted the 1984 Los Angeles Olympics. So he said he was already in this kind of mindset that, you know, whilst nothing is basically nothing is certain. And he reckoned that a lot of athletes, or certainly the majority of the best athletes, were quite mentally resilient to the fact, because every day you live with a pretty uncertain future as an athlete. And so I do wonder whether, you know, as much as it can change the result, you sort of also think, well, the best athletes will probably emerge okay through it because they're used to dealing with adversity.
Of course.
Yeah, and it will be those athletes who can deal, like you say, with adversity, and those ones who stay positive and keep their focus will be the ones that come through and do well.
And also, even the funding situation, how will the funding look the next year? I mean, they do it in a 4-year cycle.
Yeah.
Then the government might just turn around and say, we're not funding Olympics anymore because we don't have any more money left. You just don't know what's going to happen. It's a very uncertain time, and it's a very worrying time for sport. But we know it'll bounce back, and like you say, the best athletes will continue to fight, and they'll be at the top at any Olympic Games.
It might still be the same top 3 athletes on the podium, but it might just be shuffled around a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
You just don't know.
No. The other point that you made, Stu, was that it was an interesting one. Like, older athletes this year is important, you know, especially if you're in the later part of your career, because you kind of don't get your years back. But in some ways, we spoke to an athlete recently who actually kind of almost said the opposite and said, look, I might lose a year now, but actually I've been training at a high level for a very long time, and this sort of enforced plateau and break period might give me an extra year or 2 on the back end that I wouldn't have otherwise had because of the burnout and the injury thing.
I agree with you. And it's all giving the athletes a year off as well, which is probably more often needed.
Yeah.
Because most athletes are off anyway.
But then it's the athletes that actually use this time wisely and not keep trying to push the limits too much. Like she said, like, burn yourself out, because if you're pushing it really hard now, then you know, is that going to be too much for when you actually go and do your proper lead up to the games, like a little bit obviously further out? So it's an interesting one, isn't it? And it's going to be. I mean, I just really hope it goes ahead for the athletes.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a definite shame if it doesn't happen in 2021. I think everyone, because it's such a, you know, we all, if you've been a sports person, that's like a massive, especially for you guys. But it's a focal point of your 4 years, isn't it? You know, that whole thing. So we're gonna miss that this year. It's going to be a real shame. But it's for the best, you know, it's for the best reason. It would be stupid to plow on and try and do it. That just also, Michelle, like picking up on, you know, or sort of like probing deeper into that, where you just started to go with that. You said about the athletes that use this time wisely, and your comment was something along the lines of, you know, those that if you're pushing too hard or whatever at the moment, because I think a lot of non-athletes, or even a lot of amateur athletes, I've seen a perception in people that actually, I've got this lockdown time. I'm furloughed from work and I've got extra time, and that this is the time I should be like smashing it, and going really hard and like using the time wisely. I sense from what you're saying that that's not your thinking.
Well, for amateurs, I would say a little bit, because obviously they need to kill their time, don't they? It's a good time to get fit, but you have to be careful, obviously. I mean, I did hit that point when it first started. I got a little bit carried away. I found Zwift, started racing every single day. Yeah. You know, I said to her, I feel really tired. And she goes, we have raced this, you're 50. You're not in the Tour de France, Stuart. You're not 30 anymore. You're 40. And I thought, so I had to take it easy for a day. But you have to be careful. And Michelle,
well, before all this happened, before lockdown came along, like I feel like I was swimming at my best that I have in 10 or so years. We were, you know, obviously preparing for this year ourselves. I know we're only racing the age group now, but we still had big goals to race. Like I want to go back to my third world champs and try and win that for my age group and stuff like that. So we was pushing it, and I had a really bad injury last year, and for me, I'm very injury prone still because I've got my double fusion and things. And we were training quite hard in the lead up to obviously the lockdown, and I felt like I was just flying on all three disciplines. And Stu was getting really fit, and all of a sudden, boom, that's it. So, and then we kept pushing for a while because we thought, well, you know, how long is this going to go for? But as the weeks went on, we started to realise, and actually, I pulled a glute muscle on a 1K rep session. Stu pulled his groin
and my hamstring,
and we just stopped. And at the beginning, I got really upset because I thought, oh my god, I'm injured again. And then I thought, well, hold on a second. There's no races anytime soon anyway, so just calm the hell. You know, I had to tell a good talk to myself and say, look, calm the hell down, because you know this is it's so easy to get carried away, and this is what we try to tell our athletes now anyway, like the ones we coach, that you know there's no point. And so from all of our own experiences, what we learn, that what we put our bodies through, we pass that on to our athletes, because we realise that, you know, like it's so easy to get carried away. You know, when you've got the two disciplines to work on, of course, everything wants to be upped. You know, that's natural, because people want to start taking on more mileage and more intensity. And because you're a bit fresher, because you're not swimming, you have a tendency to be able to push more as well. But what we've realised is, especially on the run, not so much on the bike, but on the run, is that when you're doing, say, like if I think I can run 330k pace for 1K, for my 1K reps, I should really be running at sort of 340, 335 max.
350, yeah.
Even 350, 340 if you think you can run 330, because at the end of the day, like that 10 seconds that's that extra bit of oomph, you know, on the ground that's just going to maybe snap the hip out, or, you know, pull a hammy or tweak the hammy or something that, you know, you shouldn't really be taking yourself there. And even Michelle Jones, I had a good chat with her in Lausanne last year, and I said, one bit of advice, Michelle, that you could give anyone, you know, especially at our age, like she's been racing age group for a while now, what would it be? And that was exactly the advice that she gave. Like, just if you think you can run 330, run 340. You know, don't ever take yourself to that edge or that line. And I think each year that ticks by, I think we're learning more and more and more, aren't we? We've got to get a hold back now. So I'm back running. And
you're trained within yourself, basically.
Yeah.
No, I'd agree totally, because I've taken a strong view on that myself, because I popped a calf in January this year. So what I often do is I took a bit of time off in December, went on holiday for quite a while with my wife and the kids. And the one thing I then have time to do is like, well, I think to myself, I quite often do a challenge where I'll like run almost every day in December. It's not like it's dead set, but I'll just try and run a bit more. And I get a bit of run fitness back. There's a great local race in January in the New Forest that I've done a couple of years now. And I was getting up to that, but I was getting really tight calves. And then I raced this race and popped a calf in the race. And then it's like, you know what it's like? You always think, oh, yeah, well, normally it's 5 or 6 weeks, but this time it'll only be a week or two. And then like 4 weeks later, I'm still hobbling on it, and on it goes. And I thought, luckily, I was kind of back running when the lockdown started, because running was about the only thing I could do. And I thought, I'm going to not, you know, so I do my classic run, if there is such a thing, is just like 5 miles, 8K, whatever. A nice loop that goes down by the sea and back there. If I'm like steady to hard running, I'll knock it out in just under 4 minutes a K, that sort of pace. That's kind of like that. Like gets me going, if you know. That makes me feel like I've had a decent session without leaving it all out there. But I thought, do you know what? I'm going to back that off. I'm going to run it. I'm actually not going to look at what. I'm just going to run a bit more easier. And I found that looking at all my runs, I've settled into more like running at 4:15 to 4:30 pace. Yeah. And I've now got like 10 weeks of running under my belt. I've done the odd K and I've done the odd session where I've stretched my legs a little bit. By knocking the intensity down that little bit. Yeah, perfect. Because I'm paranoid about, I love my running so much at the moment for the stress relief and for the feel good factor. I don't want it taken away, because as much I've got one of these things, I don't know if you can see that, I've got my workout stacked behind me, and they're a great tool, but I don't get the same. It's not running. It's not out in nature, and it's not running. If you're a runner, like I'm predominantly from a running background, or running was the thing that I had the most sort of like natural talent for out of the three sports, and you just I don't get the buzz from the others as much. Although I've started doing what I have started doing to get my heart rate up is doing some HIIT sessions on here, because you don't get injured so much on there. So I feel like I can push it up a lot higher.
Well, we'd always say anyone that's injury prone, do your key sessions on the bike and then run steadily like you're doing, and you shouldn't get injured. I mean, obviously if you have to do essence. Do you do much strength and conditioning work?
Mate, I've got I'm building up my calluses on my fingers.
Oh, good.
I've put a chin-up bar outside.
Oh, excellent.
Lockdown chin-up bar. But I generally don't, although this has forced me to do a bit more. The one thing I was missing from my sort of pre-coronavirus lockdown armory was I should have bought some kettlebells or something.
Yeah,
I know. A bit more, but I didn't get around to it, and instead I've been doing press ups and chin ups and stuff.
That's what ended my career. My calves just kept going.
Yeah,
and I realised when I got to about 37, they kept popping all the time. It took me 4 or 5 weeks to come back. It's because I had weak calves and weak hamstrings. You need to get them strong. You do a lot of reps. And it will help it, but it's to do with your back, I think, as well. It's when the back starts to go, that's when the old calves go. It's called old age.
I was going to say,
Eddie, welcome to our club.
Yeah, exactly. It's all degradation, isn't it? At the end of the day,
No, for sure. Like gym sessions for us is a major key fact. Like we have 3 times a week. We do it at home now, obviously, because we've got the Pilates machine reformer, and thankfully we've kept that. I bought that 20 years ago, but that's been pulled out and been dusted off, and we've been using that, and we can do a lot of exercises on that. It's brilliant. But like Stu said, it's posterior chain, like it's the calves, it's the hamstrings, it's the glutes, and it's the core. And if you can, and the abs, core, if you can keep that all strong, and we work at three times a week, so every second day, even 4 times sometimes. We just do roll on, roll off, like every second day, work that. And what we've done as well is, recently we were pushing it hard, like I said, until we both hurt ourselves, but what we do is a hard bike ride now. We put that in front of any sort of run, or even just a steady bike ride in front of a run, so you don't feel the urgency or the need to actually run further off the bike, because then that stops us from doing it. And at the moment I've just completely cut out all the intensity on the run, just smashing myself on the bike, just run off steady, or if I go for a standalone run, it'll just be up to 10k, because I was going up to 18k, and I started to realise coming home, just because the fatigue levels on the way home, your form starts to drop a little bit like a swimming pool. Form starts to drop, back starts to get sore, sciatica starts to come on, glutes start to get tight, and then you go and do a speed session off the back of that 2 days later, and boom, then you're sort of asking for trouble, and that's what happened to us. So I think, you live and you learn, and you never ever stop learning. That's the thing, like because you're always experimenting. Like we've never been at this age before, so you're going into new territory, so you're always learning about yourself. Like what I'm learning now, like I'm about to turn 47 this Sunday, and I'm just like, I'm learning more. I'm like, your body does change as you get older. It's no word of a lie, it really does. And you start to realize, okay, like, because you still have the same mindset, but the body, obviously, because it's getting older, it just doesn't recover as quick. Then you bring the sort of gin and tonics and the red wines into the equation. We eat well.
So you're more dehydrated.
You're more dehydrated, like all that kind of stuff, and you're still trying to push like a professional athlete, and you just have to realise it's not happening.
Very, Very true. I can drink to that one. That is for sure.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
I'm learning that one. Right, I've got two final little quick questions for you. I'm interested. What's something that you've sort of missed during lockdown and not being able to go out? What have you missed that surprises you that you didn't think you would miss?
Socialising with friends.
Yeah,
that's a big one we've missed. Seeing family.
Yeah. Swimming.
Yeah,
no.
Travelling as well.
Yeah,
that's the biggest one.
Yeah,
because everyone loves to go travelling.
Yeah, well, the last time I saw you guys face to face, I think was in Nice, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Around the world, you know, we all like going to see, because triathlon takes you to some amazing places.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Travel's, I think, probably the biggest one. Just being around all different people from all over the world. I mean, that's what we love doing. We love mixing with triathletes, watching people race, watching people train with people. Yeah, that's kind of all gone. I mean,
Okay, but what's one thing that you don't miss that's gone away? That could basically something that doesn't.
I don't miss getting up early sometimes. I like sleeping in. That's something which I've really enjoyed.
Yeah, we've definitely caught up on a bit more sleep.
I think everyone has. They must have.
Yeah, they had to have. And if they didn't, they're silly, because this was the time.
They're silly, or they've got children.
Oh yeah,
because my children are still getting up at 5:30, like clockwork.
Right. Yeah, well, of course,
or athletes that still get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go train is a little bit silly in my book.
Yeah, if they haven't got a race anytime soon, they should have taken this time just to sort of allow the body to recover a little bit more.
Sleep is we what's one thing that I've definitely learned is how, it's talked about a lot now, and it never used to get talked about, but sleep is like the one for recovery, isn't it? It makes you feel
it makes a huge difference. If I don't get sort of 8 hours, I do struggle a bit. I can survive off 6 as a one-off, or maybe a couple of days, but then I just fall into a heap, and I need that sleep. I think especially if you're training as well. I think if it wasn't training, I wouldn't be so bad, but I think the training just takes so much more out of you that you just need that extra sleep. But there's one thing that we found during lockdown, isn't there? Zwift. Zwift has been really good, actually.
It's been fun. Yeah.
I was like, Andy, I don't even want to go on Zwift. Like, I was so against it, old school and all that. I'd rather look at the sort of the dot on the wall and just ride. And I was like, she was on it first, and it was like, Michelle, you've got to get on. It's really good. And I looked at it and I thought, no, I'm not going to do this. Anyway, I finally got onto it, and guess what? I actually really like it.
Yeah,
so it was good.
I've heard the same from so many people, and to be honest, I'm not doing enough biking at the moment to warrant it, but I'm getting closer all the time, because I've now got the sort of TV to get set up ready, and I'm figuring it out. I've read the thing online, so I think I'm getting there.
Yeah,
I haven't got there yet.
Just go on it, because you can go levels. You don't have to go to the A level. There's A, B, C, D, and you do races, you do time trials, you can ride
Paul Newsom, who you guys know well, he was trying to goad me into it, because he was saying, we can go for a ride, he's down in Perth. So I thought, actually that would be quite cool. I'll be up for that.
Cool.
It is good fun. And you can do rides together where the person that organised the ride keeps everyone together so no one gets dropped.
That's what you're doing tonight.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing
on the companion app. So you get on the companion app and you meet up with your athletes, and even if they're not the same level, or it just keeps them together somehow. I've never done that, but you've got loads of them, haven't you?
How many G&Ts can you have before you ride on Zwift?
We're going to have one, because he thought he'd better go to school. Well, it's a steady ride.
It's an easy ride.
It's an easy ride,
Good on you.
Forgot about that.
I think you forgot, because I was going to have a gin and tonic. You were like,
so I'll be okay. I feel good for the first half. Have a little bit of alcohol before that during the race, didn't they?
Just enough. You got. I think it's a fine line, but they always say a little bit might be performance enhancing. One last thing before I let you go and do your slightly drunken Zwift one.
I'm going to give you a magic trick before we go.
I need a magic trick, but also I know that because everyone loves seeing you guys on the internet, because you're so enthusiastic and entertaining, and you're doing these things with Sigma Sports, aren't you, at the moment?
Yeah.
So tell us, how can people see those? How can they get involved with them, or whatever?
Okay, so every Friday we've been doing a live chat with an athlete. We've been inviting them on, and it's a new time now, 7:30 at night, so more people can come and watch, because we had it 12 o'clock to start with, and I think a lot of people were sort of even though they're furloughed. they were sort of out and about and probably just, enjoying the park and stuff like that. But but so 7:30 at night every Friday. It's been fun, actually. We had Johnny Brownlee on last week.
We had Sarah Crowley on.
Sarah Crowley from Australia, and that was really sweet of her because she stayed up till like 10 o'clock at night or something to speak to us.
Oh, good on her,
this Friday.
Cool. Joe Skipper's this Friday, we had Simone Mitchell as well to start with. She's lovely. She won Ironman well. She'll be going to Kona.
Will Clark was on.
Will Clark was on as well. We had some funny stories from back in the day with Will. That was good fun. It's been really fun, and we've been really enjoying it. And it's been keeping us motivated as well to talk to them and find out as well what other people have been doing too, because it gets a bit monotonous after a while, like the day in, day out. In fact, we sometimes lose track of what day it is. I don't know about you. You probably do a little bit. Obviously you do know, but then you go, what? And then the time, I don't know about you, but the time just goes really quick. Yeah,
that's definitely happening. The weeks are flying by at the moment.
It's Sunday today, isn't it?
Yeah. Was that what you're having your gin and tonic? But Stu's been.
Should we do a magic trick?
Yeah, let's do a magic trick.
I've been waiting all day for it. You have to bring the laptop.
Okay, I have to bring the laptop up here if that's okay.
Oh, good, interactive.
Here we go. Right.
So,
can you see him, Andy?
Yeah, I've got him.
So, do you have a squirrel problem where you live?
Oh, well, we've got a rat problem. Is that close enough?
This is a rat trap. So watch this. Very dangerous. What I'm going to do is, and do that one more time. I'm going to put a set of cards in there. I'm going to try and find your card. Okay. Oh, there we go. Oh. Okay. Right. So, Andy.
Yeah.
I want you to say stop.
Stop.
So that's your card.
Yeah.
Okay, you got it? Can I put it there?
Did you see it?
I didn't see it. You got to hold it up so I can see it. Yeah. Got it.
Put it here. Okay, right. Let's pop it there, this. I haven't done this in a while. Okay, cards there. Oh, I've seen it now. That's all right. Okay, now
I love to see when he messes up.
I'm going to lose your card. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Good, right. Pop it in here like this. Give it a little bit of shuffle. Now I'm going to try and get the card out of the trap from my hand. You ready?
Yeah.
Ready?
Careful.
3. There's cards. So you card?
It is. That's my card. 5 clubs.
Oh, well done, Stewie.
Fantastic.
This as well.
Hey, there you go.
That was awesome.
I didn't realise we had like washing folded up and stuff over there. There you go. You did say this was a relaxed chat.
No, that was awesome, mate. That was
good, Stu. Well done.
Very good indeed.
That's called the world's most dangerous card trick.
It is. It looked, especially when you're going to try and get back into swimming soon, you're going to have to do it with a little finger.
You lost a finger.
I've lost a finger. I'll be fine.
Well, like we said last time, I know that maybe if there's travel restrictions, you'll actually be able to come down when it's Bobby's birthday.
Oh,
do some magic for
him.
That'd be great. I'd love to.
That would be wicked. Yeah.
We'll get that sorted, and I can definitely lay on 3 gin and tonics.
Oh, brilliant!
And somewhere to stay, so you can safely drive back the next day.
Brilliant!
Oh, sounds amazing. Thank you.
Well, that'd be great. Lovely talking to you. I know you've got to get on and do your rides. I'll let you go. But we'll look out for you on the Sigma thing, 7:30 on a Friday night UK time.
Yeah, thanks so much.
What platforms are there? Instagram Live, are they?
Instagram Live, yeah.
Through Sigma.
Yeah.
Great stuff. We'll watch out for those. Lovely to chat to you, as ever.
Thanks, Andy. Awesome to see you, and you look well. It's good.
Yeah, it's the sunshine. Keep in touch.
Yeah, this helps, doesn't it? It really helps.
All right, take it easy, guys.
Take care.
All right, Andy.
Cheers.
Bye.